This podcast is brought to you by Legend Comics and Coffee in Omaha, Nebraska, located in scenic downtown Benson. They got a new location. It's absolutely gorgeous. Check it out. And by listeners like you. Go to Patreon.com/2headed nerd. Become a patron. Support this show.
Once, they were two best friends managing a comic book store. But when an innocent blood oath went wrong, the two found themselves trapped in the same body, imprisoned in a strange pyramid made of long boxes, buried deep below their hometown, where they are doomed to discuss comic books until the end of time. They were once Joe and Matt. Now they are known as the Two-Headed Nerd. And this is their podcast.
Broadcasting from the Ziggurat at Omaha in caverns deep below the metro area, it's our pleasure to welcome you to episode 780 of the Two-Headed Nerd Comic Book Podcast. I'm your head number one. My name is Matt Baum. We are recording on New Comic Book Day, June 4th, and on this day, back in 1954, the United States Senate Subcommittee on Juvenile Delinquency held further hearings focusing on the influence of comic books on youth and their behavior that would lead to the Comics Code Authority. And had it stuck around, Joe Patrick, we probably wouldn't have this show.
I'm the Internet's Joe Patrick, your head number two, and Lord knows we'd all be more successful and richer. Turns out comics do rot your brain, and we've been proving it for years. It's time for another new comic show where we'll review 8 new comics from the last 2 weeks. After that, we'll set you up with our must-read new comic picks for next week.
It is NBA Finals time, so it took a full court press to get Joe to read anything. But I promised to pack this show with basketball puns, so he's back in the game. This week, we're dunking on Joshua Williamson's new G.I. Joe story arc, the latest giant-size XMen featuring Kamala Khan, the real star of James Gunn's Superman, Mr. Terrific's origin story, Jonathan Hickman's cosmic Marvel murder mystery, and more. That's some alliteration. It's review time in the Ziggurat!
Before we start handing out flagrant fouls, let's talk about our rating system, the one we came up with after being ejected from a dunk competition versus a team of cheating doombots.
They were using their jet boots. It's bullshit. You can't do that.
I mean, I would argue any robot that enters a dunk contest is automatically cheating. It's a robot.
But when it's a doombot, you know for sure. Like, these guys are going to be assholes.
Hell yeah. Each comic we review is rated using our 3-point scale. Buy it, skim it, or leave it. I tried really hard to come up with a three-point joke just then, but I failed.
Don't do it. Let me handle the basketball puns.
All right, sorry.
The joke is you like basketball, so don't worry.
Look, I like basketball. Then we picked the best comic we reviewed to enter the THN Permanent Collection.
Who is playing in the finals this year?
I don't know.
Mr. Basketball.
Well, I didn't say I follow basketball. Okay. I just said I like basketball. Our Synthezoid assistant Macho posts our written new comics reviews on twoheadednerd.com, but we only look past our comics to each other and then take them to the house right here on our new comics review show twice a month. Macho, please fetch our Rainbow Pride Jordans and our review comics.
Macho's Lock of the Week, The Thunder Take It in 5. Here are your review comics for the week of May 28th.
We begin with Mr. Terrific, Year 1, Number 1 from DC. It's written by Al Letson, art and main cover by Valentin Delandro, art and colorist Edwin Gallman, colors by Marissa Louise, and letters by Lucas Gattoni.
Okay, let's back up and maybe clarify what you wrote there.
I'm about to talk about it. Gallman does all of his art and coloring on a flashback thing, and then
he only does the first 3 pages.
And I'll talk about that. Letters by Lucas Gattoni. It's 32 pages for $3.99. This is it. This is your definitive origin of Mr. Terrific. We knew in the past the story. He lost his wife. He lost his family in a tragic car accident. He became Mr. Terrific, but we have never seen that story. So this is sort of your secret origin for how he got to where he is. And this opens with Gallman on the art and coloring duties. And he just has a few pages here laying out the events of the DC All In special, but it's all from Mr. Terrific's point of view. And it's really well done. It looks great. The art is excellent, very slick. And it is that Michael Holt in Mr. Terrific mode superhero that we're used to. He's DC's Mr. Fantastic. Although I might argue he's even better at his job. And I don't think he's ever made a huge mistake and pissed anyone off too much other than handing over his company to a real bad guy, which we might learn is a big
He hasn't had as many times around the block as old Reed.
Perhaps. Then the story goes into flashback. We art change to Delandro. Delandro's art is way more stripped down, not as slick and superhero. And it works really well because we're telling a very human story for Mr. Terrific. This is Michael Holt before he's Mr. Terrific at his lowest. This is right after the death of his wife and child. He looked great with a beard, by the way. If we've never seen a bearded Terrific, I love it. Gateway City, the city that he's from, is about to sign a deal to allow the woman who bought Mr. Terrific's energy tech to power the South Side. They call it the Bottoms. It's their poor area, their suicide slum, if you will. And of course, tech is making people real sick because who else do you test this on but the poor people? Michael Holt is not really in on what's going on. He just kind of walked away from his company because he's so upset. And it seems like Letson is setting up this story of him realizing the awesome responsibility behind his intellect, right? This is going to result in tragedy. A friend of his is definitely trying to tell him, hey, there's more going on here than you think. There's a mystery involved. There's a big bad corporation that he's going to end up fighting. It's like all the stuff that makes a hero, and it's being told really well. I think the most important part of this, though, it's not a superhero story yet. This is a story about depression. And this is a story about like pulling yourself out of the depths of the depression and finding a mission for your life. So far, this is fantastic. Art is great. Story is super solid. I'm giving this a buy it.
Totally agree. I really liked it as well. I don't know Al Letson.
I don't either.
I know that if you read the solicit and things like that, you'll see that he's the award-winning writer of Monarch: Legacy of Monsters.
Mm-hmm. He's a TV guy.
And an alumnus of DC's Writers Workshop. But he did a great job here. I love Valentin Delandro.
Yeah, great stuff.
And I wasn't expecting the opening pages by Gallman. I don't know why we needed them, but it works.
I don't think it's a bad setup to be like, here's where your guy is today. Here's where he was. And we're going to show
that's fair, I suppose.
Kind of how he gets here. So,
yeah, you're right. Wasn't expecting it. Don't know if it's necessary, but it works. And everybody involved does a great job. This is a buy it from me. I'm a huge fan of Mr. Terrific. I have been for years and years and years. I am very happy to see that he's getting his due finally, thanks to James Gunn. And now he's a marquee player in the DC Comics universe. Well, he has been out for a long time, but now he's like basically co-running the Justice League.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or, the tactician of the Justice League, I guess, is a fair way to describe him.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Awesome stuff.
Do you know my dad?
Oh, G.I. Joe.
Yo, Beachhead.
Doesn't have the same ring. No.
Oh, it's G.I. Joe #7 from Image Comics Skybound. It's written by Joshua Williamson with art by Andrea Milana, colors by Lee Loffridge, letters by Russ Wooten, cover by Tom Riley. 32 pages for $3.99. Here's your solicit. It's short and sweet. A standalone Night Force covert op, the first appearance of the iconic Beachhead. But is this really his last mission? I mean,
sort of, kind
not.
of, yeah. Like doing what he was doing, I guess. So,
it depends on your point of view, I guess.
Yeah.
Auburn, Alabama's favorite son, Wayne Sneeden, a.k.a. Beachhead, finally joined the Energon universe. I could not be more thrilled.
That is one Southern Bama name. Wayne
Hell yeah.
Sneeden.
I have proclaimed my love of Beachhead on multiple occasions. I'm very happy to see him depicted like the stone cold badass he is in the pages of this very comic book. Night Force. That's not really an idea that came around until they started repainting and repackaging figures in the late 80s, early 90s. So I was kind of on my way out of playing with toys around that time. It does make sense to introduce them in this context. They're kind of reimagined here as a covert squad within G.I. Joe that plays by their own rules and deals with problems no one can ever know about. Ooh. Before the big reveal, though, Beachhead is on this top secret heist. There's an increasingly outrageous series of snafus. Williamson portrays the character as supremely capable and able to adapt to anything, but he is very firmly in the I'm getting too old for this shit category.
Oh, yeah.
Which is a nice sweet spot to put.
Yeah, he's been around the block.
Yeah. I could hear the character's voice from the 80s cartoon, the voice actor, as I read the internal monologue, and it was great. We see the return of characters from the Duke series and the Free Comic Book Day Energon special. So we'll see how this new cast dynamic plays out. These are members of Night Force. Andrea Milana drew the Cobra Commander mini. He's on board for art on this arc, and he crushes it. It's as awesomely chaotic as ever. The action scenes are very, very intense. The updated character designs are awesome. This was everything that I wanted my favorite G.I. Joe character's reintroduction to be. I cannot wait to see where Beachhead's story goes from here. If you're not reading G.I. Joe, you are missing out on one of the best action adventure titles on the stands right now. Get to your comic shop and fix it. Yeah. If you haven't been reading it.
Come on.
This is a huge buy it. I loved it.
I don't know much about this Night Force business. It was like a 1989 thing. Like you said, it was after I fell off G.I. Joe. Other than what I've read, it's like they're a sub team and they're outfitted and equipped for nighttime surveillance and defensive operations. But I kind of like that Skybound is just sort of swallowing all of the G.I. Joe mythos and adapting what they're adapting for the universe and letting it kind of gently grow instead of just, and this is nothing against Larry Hammond's G.I. Joe, what they've done there, instead of just, here's 300 characters and they're all doing G.I. Joe stuff, you know?
I mean, the thing about these sub teams is that you can't really tell a 9-year-old kid, oh, Night Force is the undercover Black Ops squad that carries out assassinations.
Right.
You know, it's like, you can't really tell them. So it's like, oh, they do stuff at night.
Yeah, but it's great. And I like to be all these characters, they've been around and they're doing stuff. It's not like you're just like, we went out and found this guy. Like Beachhead's an older dude. Art is great. G.I. Joe continues to be excellent. Of course, the second storyline is going to be just as good as what we've seen in the first. It is an art switch, but I like it. I'm giving this a buy it. Good times.
Yeah, and I think Tom Riley's back.
Yeah. I'm sure
this
he
arc.
will.
I think Milan is just doing this arc, they say. So.
Sometimes you just know a comic is not going to make you feel good when you read it, especially when it's titled The Goddamn Tragedy, #1 from Oni. This is written by Chris Condon, who is not famous for writing feel-good comics. He's kind of the go-to guy for this one's going to kick you in the stomach. Art and cover by Sean Kruneru. Sorry, Sean. Letters by Sean Lee. Double Sean there. Both SHAWN, by the way.
I know. I was impressed by that, actually.
48 pages for $6.99. Here's your solicit. In these woods, fear everything, even each other. From breakout writer Chris Condon. He's the guy that works on Ultimate Wolverine. He did that Texas Blood. You've probably heard us yell about him quite a bit. He's great. And Kuranuru, who worked on Fish Flies, which I remember seeing at Image, but I didn't read.
Jeff Lemire book.
This is a vicious and vengeful account of one of the Old West's darkest episodes from those that lived to tell it in a lavishly painted, entirely self-contained, 48-page graphic novella. Very minimal cartooning here by Kuranuru. He has a style that I think can easily be looked at by a lot of people and go, I don't care. That book looks like trash. He barely drew it. But this worked for me. And I think it worked for the story as well. I think some of it comes off as a little unfinished, but maybe he was going for that. Also with beautiful watercolor shading behind everything. And he really lets his shading do a lot of the work in some panels. The color palette changes gently when our main character, Ellen, starts recounting her story. And some of the panels, they almost look unfinished, but it's like a memory of the very lonely, dusty West that she had as a child. She's recounting her story as an adult. And I don't want to spoil anything, but I will say in the back matter, Condon talks about how this is loosely based on the events of the Donner Party. So I'll let you go with that.
Sure.
I noticed like little things, like there's no outlines on any of the word balloons or the narration boxes, which is really nice because it keeps it kind of dreamy, and it doesn't sit on top of the art like it would in a lot of comics. It kind of
makes the lettering feel more a part of the art.
Yeah, exactly. Whereas like when you read superhero comics, you can doubt like they hammer the word balloons in there. I mean, they're smart about it, of course, but this is part of the art. The pacing is great. And it's one of those books where the horror starts with the recounting the story and you know where it's going to go and you know it's not going to be a happy ending. But there's nothing you can do and you just get pulled through the story. Some excellent, really creepy scenes. There's one where we meet an Indian with this painted skull face shaded in blue and green that really stands out. Like I can still see it in my head. This is like Condon's having a moment right now. He's really coming up and he's really good at these hard hitting type stories. There was a Wolverine arc, an Ultimate Wolverine story. Pardon me. I think it was like issue 6 or 7 where Wolverine was hallucinating and pictured himself as a wolf fighting a bear. And it very much reminded me some of what he's doing here. And man, his Old West is just awful. It is a nightmare. And if you've ever read any of his other Old West stuff, it's the same. This is a fantastic story about trauma. I'm not sure why it's just a standalone unless they're going to be doing more of these, but I really enjoyed it. I'm giving it a buy it.
I mean, I guess they just don't have any.
Yeah, I mean,
there's just no more to the story.
It's just kind of the standalone, maybe supernatural, definitely creepy Old West story, and it works. So, I thought the story was great. I thought the art was not, unfortunately. Really?
Yeah. I'm
kind of shocked.
Really? I am shocked at your shock because it feels unfinished, and I agree with that. And I don't think that it's in a good way. You know, it's
no kidding. I kind of reminded me of like something like a mind management in parts. Where what he was going for.
Matt Kint is way better at doing that kind of thing.
I don't disagree that I think Kint is better.
And I don't know that that's what this guy was trying to do.
Okay.
I think that the art is too loose. I think it is unfinished and not in a way that strengthens the story. Like it's one thing to have have some art be hazy because it is a
dreamy flashback,
right? A memory,
sure.
You know, a barely recalled memory or whatever. This just looks like very loose storyboards, like thumbnails. And I also don't think the art style suits the story. But it's not that I don't think that the artist is capable of something good or that the artist is not talented. I just don't think it was a good match. And so for me, that makes this a skim it.
Fair.
I think that the story is compelling. And I love the conceit of like the survivor of the tragedy setting the record straight. That's a fun framing device, but yeah, it's just the package as a whole. It just didn't work for me, unfortunately.
I'm surprised, but I mean, I get it. It did for me. So, your mileage may vary. I get it.
The art is subjective. One thing I think we can both agree is not subjective, and that is the fact that there have been too many comics called Giant Size X-Men number 1.
Yeah. I mean, really. It's also not something where we're like, man, more of those. Like, it worked. We get it.
One time, right? One time it was
but
great.
There's never been another good one.
Yeah. This is Giant Size X-Men number 1. It's a one-shot from Marvel. It's written by Colin Kelly and Jackson Lansing and Al Ewing, with art by Adam Kubert and Sarah Pacelli. Colors are by Laura Martin and Federico Blee. Letters are by VC's Clayton Cowles. Cover by Kubert. It's 48 pages for $4.99. Barely giant-sized, if we're being honest.
Let's be real. 80 pages is giant size. Come on.
Yeah, 80 pages is giant size, yes. Here's your solicit. Ever since she discovered she was a mutant, Kamala Khan has been balancing her previous life as Ms. Marvel with her role as a leader in the new community. But her conflicted identity has come at a deep personal cost. Now pulled into the distant past by an unhinged villain with deep ties to mutant history, Ms. Marvel will witness the iconic birth of the Uncanny X-Men and their first encounter with Krakoa from an all-new, all-different perspective. But when history begins to change, can either Kamala Khan or the X-Men themselves survive the experience? They sure know how to push all the right buttons with the phrasing.
Well, sure.
I mean, they're marketing. They get it. So this is like the 9th or 10th Giant Size X-Men number 1. I've lost count. The name obviously has some cachet with nerds. Not anymore.
This is
Not
also
anymore.
the first.
Stop using it.
The first of 5 giant size one shots that were all the X-Men related. So.
And nothing says this book is meaningless like Giant Size Dark Phoenix Saga number 1.
Right.
Which is the next part of this of this event. This issue kicks off a series of 5 one-shots featuring Ms. Marvel bouncing from major X event to major X event through the time stream. It's perfectly serviceable as a throwback adventure featuring the 70s team. The art is fantastic. Kubert is on his game here. This is good Kubert.
It is. It's really good Kubert.
But this feels more like an attempt to finally synergize the comic book Ms. Marvel with her MCU counterpart than it does an actual story, because it's like, ooh, what's her new power? What's her mutant power? Surprise, it looks almost like her TV power.
Wait, oh my God, I didn't see that coming.
I know. I will give Kelly and Lansing credit for making this work within the framework of existing continuity. There are nods to the young X-Men spending time in the future and Cyclops' time with the champions with Kamala, like his friendship with Kamala. And I thought that was nice.
I mean, sure.
Naturally, Krakoa plays a big role in the story because that's where Giant Size X-Men number 1 takes place. I'm not really sure how it jives with later Hickman revelations.
It can't. It cannot. That's the thing.
Whatever. I don't know.
When you start doing this Terminator shit, all you do is fuck up your own story. You know?
I mean, the story's already fucked up.
I guess.
I don't know how much I care about any of it. And the harder that they work to turn Kamala into a TV-ready mutant superstar, the less compelling she becomes.
Agreed.
I don't really need her to be exactly like she is in the MCU. She was fine already.
Just make her an adopted Inhuman, you guys. Just do it. You know, or whatever.
I'm okay with her being a mutant, but I don't need this she makes energy platforms now. No, I don't care. The second story by Ewing and Pacelli, much more interesting, about the Italian woman who not only turned down Professor X's invitation to join the all-new, all-different X-Men, but vowed to bring him to justice for being the child-endangering terrorist he's always been.
I mean, yeah.
I love it. This new mutant, her name is Justina LaGuardia. Very Italian. She's pretty awesome. Her powers are very cool. I want to see how her character develops as we approach the present day. This comic book is fine. It's got some interesting ideas. It suffers under the weight of an obvious corporate agenda. The backup story is very interesting. The art throughout is great. At the very least, I'll be checking out the next chapter, but this is a skim it.
I don't care. That's where I'm at. I don't care. We talked about a project just like this and who would be perfect for it. And you know who that is? Cable. Cable travels time. Show me Cable behind all this, behind the scenes. But it doesn't make sense to have the character right there in the middle of the action, meeting everyone and knowing them. And unless you're just like, who fucking cares about the timeline or whatever? It just doesn't make sense.
Well, but that's the thing about a time travel story. If they're not going to interact, then then it's no fun.
Wrong. It can be, and it could be very clever if you show that they did this one tiny thing that actually helped and changed the tide and saved things or something along those lines, right? This was just like, we're having a good time and whatever, and I know Cyclops from the future, so he knows me in the past, and like, okay, whatever. I didn't care. It's fine. I'm not going to read any more of the one-shots. I guess it's a skim it because it wasn't
it's fine.
Terrible.
It's not bad.
Yeah. It wasn't terrible, but it does feel like a Miss Marvel / X-Men cash grab now for some reason, which is, I don't know, whatever, kind of out of place. I'm not reading
several years removed from her last starring role in the MCU.
I'm not reading 5 more giant size one-shots, and you're not going to do the Dark Phoenix saga better in one issue. So whatever.
Fair. Yeah, that's true.
If we're sticking with our basketball metaphor, then this is your halftime, albeit a short one. The third quarter begins with your review comics from the week of Wednesday, June 4th.
Cullen Bunn has fired probably the loudest shot in the war for King of Horror supremacy right at you, James Tinney in the 4, by bringing back the 6th Gunn, Road to the 6th one-shot. Let's see Tinney and top this. This is from Oni Press. It's written by Cullen Bunn with cover and art by Brian Hurt. It is so good to see Brian Hurt back. That guy, man, I love this dude. Colors by Bill Crabtree, letters by Crank with an exclamation point. 40 pages for $3.99. I don't know no Crank, but I bet he's fun to party with. Here's your solicit. The road to the 6th starts here before the 6th Gun rages back into existence in this summer's long-awaited reunion from co-creators yada yada. I just talked about him. You know him. You love him. This bridges the gap between the explosive finale of the landmark original series and the powerful new chapter, soon to be written with a self-contained one-shot prelude featuring 3 all new stories, leading directly into the 6th Gun's 15th anniversary celebration. What they're not telling you is that the new series starts in July. If you've never read The 6th Gun, pick this up. It's going to give you a clue as to what's going on. And I will say, even though it's been 10 years since we've seen the last issue of The 6th Gun, I picked this up, felt like I was right back there. If I were a new reader.
Yeah, I didn't struggle at all.
And I tried to look at this, whenever I do this, I try to take my love of whatever it is that we're revisiting out of the picture and just say, okay, I'm a new reader. Am I interested in what we've got here? And even from a brand new reader's perspective, I think this works. It's an anthology telling 3 stories from this world, setting up what is going to be going on in the new comic. And there was no part of it where I could say, as a new reader, you're going to feel completely lost, right? It's mysterious. No. By its nature, the story is mysterious, supernatural, bizarre. And if there's one thing that Brian Hurt is really, really good at, it is setting up a one-panel thing that happens that someone is referencing that is never referenced again, that could be its own friggin' story all right there. Like this cowboy in the second story that is recounting how he found this thing that is going to, this vial of whatever, that's going to be a major part of the new series. And there's like 3 panels of him on his adventure to find the thing that would be amazing stories all on their own. Not to mention when he finally gets to the person he's supposed to deliver this to, the design on the character is such that I'm just like, fuck it, man. Just tell me about that guy. That guy looks so cool. But we started with like a medieval story that I didn't see coming, with like a knight fighting snake people. We get a story about an old cowboy hunting down a mystery. And then we do get some familiar faces who I'd love to see return. And I'm so thrilled that the Black Stars are back. It's going to be awesome. This is just great. And it just going to drop us right back into one of the best supernatural Western stories ever written. Hands down. I love a good Western. The only thing I love more, a good supernatural Western. I am thrilled to have the 6th Gun back. Way to go, you guys. This is a gigantic buy it.
Totally agree with everything you said. I'm a huge fan of the original 6th Gun miniseries. And yeah, you don't need to know shit about shit to enjoy this comic book. In fact, it probably helps if you don't. because you don't come into it with any baggage, and you just get to enjoy this story. And like, yeah, the story really couldn't be simpler. The six guns are ancient. They predate. Like they go way, way, way far back.
Yeah.
Like they predate the invention of the handgun. So they weren't always guns, obviously.
Right.
They used to be swords, right? As we see in this first story.
And like the gun is forged from some of these weapons, and that's why it is what it is.
The story is this: once upon a time, 6 somethings escaped hell and were forged into weapons, and those weapons have been recast throughout the millennia, and they're bad fucking news.
Yeah, real bad. And if you own one of them, it's like, your life's not going to be great.
you either steer clear of anyone that has one, or you are heavily invested in making sure that nobody gets them.
Right. I can't remember the name of the movie.
If they do, bad stuff.
I can't remember the name of the movie. I think it's Winchester 78 or something like that. Or
yeah, that sounds about right.
But it's about the best gunfighter in the West, and the problem with being the best gunfighter in the West is everyone else is going to be coming after you. The 6th gun is very similar. If you own it, you have a lot of power, but everyone is coming for you now.
Right. And I love it when they take these kind of old West tropes, and like you said, they put a supernatural spin on it. Like literally the show Supernatural had a long running plot line about a magical cult made by the Samuel cult that kills demons.
Yep.
It's awesome. That kind of shit. I live for it.
Winchester 73. James Stewart was in it. Great movie.
All right, there you go. This is fantastic. So glad to see these boys back. Matt was talking about this last night on the Discord. He said, did you guys know that there's a 6th gun pilot that never aired, and it was for a show that never got made?
It is bad.
I watched that thing in its entirety last night. It is not good.
It is starring Pedro Pascal.
Loved it.
You may have heard from him. He turned out okay.
Pedro Pascal is in it. The guy that played
Joe, you could not have loved it. It was bad. No, I'm not.
But
buying
I loved it. I loved it for what it was.
Reinforces
not because of
Joe
how
loves
it's
everything.
The most 2010-esque.
You got to watch out for
shit.
stuff like this, man.
It's like Jonah Hex the movie. It was like a Western with heavy metal music.
That was not a good movie.
Modern alternative rock.
Not a good movie.
Yeah. No, I know. It's so dated, but it's got a lot of people that you recognize in it. Anyway, this is a buy it. I love the 6th gun. Love it. And I will be rereading the 6th gun. Like, it's on my to-do list.
Yeah, go pick up those omnibuses if you have not. Worth it.
Speaking of things that are due for a reread, my next review is of Marvel Knights: The World to Come, #1. This is from Marvel. It's written by Christopher Priest, with art by Joe Quesada, colors by Richard Isanov. Letters are by Richard Starkings, and Comicraft's Tyler Smith.
All right.
Cover is by Quesada and Isanov. It's 40 pages for $5.99. Here's your solicit. The King of Wakanda is deed, leaving unguarded the world's most advanced technology, most precious metal, and a cryptic vault of dark secrets, while triggering global conflicts among Marvel's heroes, villains, and mutants. With T'Challa gone, the future of the Marvel 616 universe will be determined by a final tribal challenge for the Wakandan throne and the mysterious victor who will change Wakanda and the Marvel universe forever. So I'm going to start off. I'm going to give you some history about Marvel Knights here real quick. 27 years ago, Ash co-creators Joe Quesada and Jimmy Palmiotti, because back then that's all they were hired by Marvel to revitalize 4 of their low-profile properties. It was sort of a Heroes Reborn type situation, but it was set in the main 616 continuity. The result was Marvel Knights, an imprint that literally changed the face of Marvel Comics forever, the career of Joe Quesada forever, and it turned Daredevil, the Black Panther, the Punisher, and more into superstars. Now, I know what you're saying. Joe, everybody knows the Punisher. Everybody knows Daredevil.
I mean,
but
Daredevil,
in 1998...
Daredevil's already a superstar. He just needed some help at the time.
In 1998, no, sir, he was not a superstar.
He needed some help.
And neither was the Punisher, and especially not the Black Panther. One of the character and career-defining runs was Black Panther, written by Christopher Priest, brought to life by an assortment of tremendous artists. Priest turned T'Challa into a vital part of the Marvel Universe. He breathed life into the character in a way that people had not seen since Don McGregor's Panther's Rage in the 70s. And he added elements to Black Panther that are still influencing the MCU today. Now, the king is dead. His death is setting in motion a series of events that are gonna send the world into global conflict, yada yada yada. Priest slips back into T'Challa's world effortlessly. He brings that trademark time-jumping writing style with him. There are a couple of characters in this. There's at least one character in this where I'm like, I think I know who that is. And I almost am willing to bet money that I'm right.
I know who it is.
The story bounces from the past and the future of the event that ushers in the titular world to come, but we only get hints about what that actually is and who caused it. All we know is that both the what and the who are very closely tied to the Black Panther's past. The way Priest teases out the story is very, very effective. It's very compelling. The dialogue is brilliant.
He's always been great at dialogue. Yeah.
Joe Quesada has always been a great artist, but when the guy was running the show at Marvel, he was practicing his artwork when no one was looking, because over the years, his work has evolved into something remarkable. He's got full backgrounds in every scene here, even as the story goes from the gleaming halls of the royal palace to the cliffs of Warrior Falls to the cobblestone streets of Paris drenched in rain.
Yeah.
His figure drawing is excellent. His action scenes are masterful. Richard Eisenov was the color artist from the original Priest series, also very famously colored Wolverine Origin. He does a very deep kind of painted color. He brings like a dreamlike glow to every scene. It's gorgeous. There is a very wild twist on the final page. I have my suspicions about where it's going to lead. No spoilers.
I have no idea where it's going.
Well, I mean, no spoilers. No spoilers. I'm just thrilled. I'm thrilled that the writer of one of my favorite comic runs of all time has come back to that world. He hasn't missed a beat. He's bringing one of the greatest comic artists ever to do it along with him. This is a huge buy it. This is great.
It is great. Apparently, this all started with a conversation with Grant Morrison, who told him, whenever you get on a major run you've always wanted to do for any character, make sure you get to do something with their past, something that changes them in the present, and then a definitive story for their future and how it ends. And this is Priest on that exercise, which I think is so cool. He's getting to revisit it, and he's taking it even further, way past, which is very cool. But yeah, everything you said. The one thing I'll say about Quesada is I don't think he's going as flashy as he used to here, and I think it's to excellent effect.
Well, he used to be a very Image Comics friendly 90s flashy artist.
His detail was, without a doubt, it's so great. I love that shit, but it was insane. He has dialed that back and boiled it down to the best parts of what he can do and perfect it. And and I think it looks really, really good here. The only thing pisses me off is we're not going to get more of it than we are. I'm giving this a buy it. It's a very heavy Marvel show today, but they had a lot of stuff come out we need to talk about, including Jonathan Hickman's new murder mystery, Imperial #1 from Marvel, written by Mr. Hickman. Art by Federico Vicentini and Iban Coelho. Colors by Federico Blee. That's 2 Federicos and 2 Seans in one episode. I love it. Letters by VC's Corey Pettit. Cover by Marco Cicchetto and Marte Gracia. 56 pages for $6.99. I salute Marvel for not charging us $10.
That's okay. We're going to talk about that in a second.
Sure. This is a sweeping Marvel cosmic event. Imperial is a story of intrigue, mysteries, and war, which takes place against the backdrop of the formation of a new galactic order in the Marvel Universe, featuring Hulks, Black Panthers, Novas, Guardians, and cosmic kings and queens. When you hear something like that, the first thing you picture for a Jonathan Hickman book in space, all these space races. Graphs and info pages.
Sure.
Good news. None of that is here.
I would have been happy with it.
I'm completely shocked, to tell you the truth. This is just basically an Agatha Christie style murder mystery in space. All the players are here. They even assemble them all at one point where Richard Rider and Star-Lord are going, one of you is the murderer. And we're in this room, we're going to find out who it is. It's great. They instantly answer the question that you and I had when we saw the preview art of like, all right, how are we going to go back to this Planet Hulk thing? Joe and I both forgot Hulk had another kid. Hiro Kala, ruler of Sakaar and Nevo. And he got murdered. Sakaar blew up.
New Sakaar, yeah.
I don't recall when that happened, but it blew up. That's all you need to know.
Original Sakaar blew up, but it was restored, yeah.
And quite honestly, if you want to read the history of Planet Hulk, just read the Greg Pak Planet Hulk stuff and stop. You don't need to read more.
I agree with that 100%.
I will say, if you are reading PKJ's Hulk next to this Hulk, they are not adjacent.
Yeah, and I think it helped that I have not read PKJ's Hulk at all.
It's very good,
other than the issues we reviewed, and so it's just on my list.
It's very good, but this is not.
I didn't have that disconnect.
Yeah, I'm not saying there's even a disconnect. Just accept that Hickman is writing the Hulk differently now. Hickman would not be able to write PKJ's Hulk into this story. He needs this Hulk to be a certain way, and it works. And there's some awesome Hulk moments. I even liked Amadeus Cho in this. I don't even care about that character hulking out. But
Amadeus Cho's fun.
I like Amadeus. I don't need him green and brawny and hulky is what I'm saying. I liked him just as Amadeus. Now he's just another Hulk. This is just a straight ahead murder mystery. It's not what I expected at all. And like, there's really fun dialogue from Peter Quill. And there's a really great return for Nova here that feels like it's going to be a real return. And it's timed really well. Hickman, of course, like, it's not as bonkers as you would expect from a Hickman story. This is just issue 1. So maybe 2 goes completely nuts. But every Marvel cosmic alien you can think of is here. This is good cosmic fun. It's balanced between 2 artists that are very flashy and have distinct styles, but the styles work extremely well. I never thought it clashed. And honestly, they don't say so-and-so did this part and so-and-so did this part. I'm not really sure who did which, but it all looks great.
I'm going to tell you what, I didn't even notice that it was 2 artists.
Yeah, it's slick as hell, man.
Are we sure it's not like an artist and an inker?
No, it is 2 artists.
Oh, no, because Ivan Coelho, he's definitely his own guy.
Yeah, most definitely.
Because he drew Venom.
Yeah, just don't come looking for the wheels and wheels weirdness. This is a murder mystery. This is good Marvel cosmic fun. I loved this first issue. I'm giving it a buy it.
It's way better than I was expecting, because I kind of got the impression that people were a little wary about it. And didn't you find a story where even Hickman was like,
he said,
I did not have fun working on this?
Yeah, he was like, I think he was just super bummed by a lot of editorial stuff that was going on.
In general at Marvel, yeah.
Yeah, but he said even this didn't quite go the way that he totally wanted it to. So we'll see. Maybe we got 4 issues. The first one's great.
Right. You know? The wheels are all on the bus right now. We'll see if they fall off.
Krakoa started great too, you know?
Yeah, sure. And when they were like, yeah, Imperial, it's cosmic. The Hulk is here dressed as a gladiator. I wasn't enthused. Not that I don't like Planet Hulk, but when I think of cosmic politics, I think of the Shi'ar. I think of the Kree.
Sure.
I think of the Accusers. Like, and a lot of that is here, but I certainly don't think the Hulk involved in intergalactic diplomacy.
No, and I wonder if Hickman's comments about how like this didn't go quite the way I wanted to, I think maybe he just wanted to tell a murder mystery in space, and it was Marvel that was like, Jonathan Hickman redefines the Marvel cosmic universe and sets up a new, like,
and he didn't want to do anything of that.
I just wanted to tell a murder mystery.
Right. But the mystery is fun. Like, the whodunit of it is great.
It is great.
Yeah, this is a buy it. I really, really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I don't care about Green Amadeus. I like Amadeus Cho. I don't need him.
It's fine.
I don't need more Hulks either. I'm fine with the Hulk and the She-Hulk.
I certainly don't need more Hulks.
No,
That's true.
And the closer we get back to, oh no, Rick Jones is the Hulk, and there's a Red Hulk, and we got the Hulky Hulk, and here comes Hulk Jr. and Hulk Baby. You know, like, no.
Hulk maybe. I want to read about him. Mercifully, our final review and our final Marvel book of the week is Ultimate Spider-Man Incursion #1. Marvel had the nerve to have 3 different events start this week. It's insane.
Well, it's summer, so I guess here we go.
I guess, yeah. It's written by Dennis Camp and Cody Ziegler. Art is by Jonas Scharf. Colors are by Edgar Delgado. Letters are once again by our main man, VC's Corey Pettit. Cover is by Sarah Pacelli and Tamara Bonvillain. Miles Morales co-creator, Sarah Pacelli.
There you go.
It's 32 pages for $5.99. 32 pages for $5.99.
That's expensive.
So they resisted the urge to gouge on Imperial, but they were like, we're cool doing it with Incursion.
That's because Ultimate comic books are selling like hotcakes, baby.
Yeah. But then Ultimate Wolverine #1 is $8.99 or whatever fucking dumb price it was.
Yeah.
All right, here's your solicit. Before the maker remade Earth 6160, he left Miles Morales the key to reach his new universe. And when Miles's baby sister Billy uses it to travel to the Ultimate Universe, it's up to Spider-Man to save her. But the Ultimate Universe is never safe for any Spider-Man. When the Spot attacks, Miles will have to team up with an all-new Peter Parker, and that's just the start of his journey across Earth 6160. So this is basically the first event of the new Ultimate Universe.
Well, there was kind of a big kickoff event for the new Ultimate Universe.
Well, I mean, there was the event that set up the launch of it.
I mean, the Jonathan Hickman event
Yeah, but I mean, this is like the first, like, now that the universe is in play, it's been around for about a year.
Sure.
This is the first, like, actual, not a crossover exactly, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
It hits the ground running. Miles returns to Earth 6160 for the first time, I think, since Jonathan Hickman's Secret Wars in 2015. Don't quote me on that. I don't care if I'm right or not, but it sounds right. Thanks to the maker, the world he finds himself in obviously looks nothing like the one he left behind, which already didn't look like the one he left behind because his universe was destroyed only to be remade. It's very, very confusing. Do not try to make sense of the history of the Ultimate Universe. You will lose.
Yeah, just read it and have fun. That's all you need to do.
Just read it and have fun.
Yeah.
Camp and Ziegler, they don't waste any time bringing Miles together with Hickman's new Spider-Men. There are 2 of them if you've been reading the book. The trio, they face a very media synergy-friendly foe. We're in between Spider-Verse movies, but obviously the Spot is going to be familiar to a lot of people. The art by Jonas Scharf. Scharf drew the tragic Ultimate Universe 1 year in one shot. We loved that book.
It was great.
His art here is weird and fun. His Spideys are wonderfully bizarre.
Really?
His I think they're like super gangly and gross looking. I think it's awesome.
I don't like this. I
like
think it looks different than the one shot. I don't like it.
Hey, you know what? We had opposite reactions to
that's true.
Goddamn tragedy, so it happens. I loved his take on the secret cabal that rules the Ultimate Universe. The one that's got all the people that used to be good, that are supposed to be good guys, like the Hulk and Magic and Colossus and Captain Britain. Now, as quickly as the action moves, the issue still felt a little too decompressed for me. The team up feels padded. And we only really get the hint of a plot. Like, all that happens in this book is that Miles chases his sister into the Ultimate Universe. He punches the Spot. People react. The end.
Yeah.
And I might have let that slide if it wasn't $2 over standard cover price for no extra pages. And so you have to factor that in when you're making your decision. I think Incursion #1 is a decent read. The story, however, barely gets past the starting block. The price is not great. It seems like a greedy move on Marvel's part. I've been giving this a strong skim it because I really liked reading it, but it's got some execution issues.
Yeah, I was disappointed. To be perfectly honest, I was disappointed, and I am looking at Ultimate Universe 1 year in The art is different. And I like this art.
I think he only did half of that. I think that issue is split between two.
It is. But even the art that he did is good here. It's really good. I don't think it's as good in this comic. I think
that's fair. I
just
don't agree.
Kind of
That's all right.
slapped together to me. And there were some really weird panels. I don't love the spot thing with this face and the way they did. I don't know.
Oh, I see. And I like that.
This didn't. But beyond that, this was too expensive for what it was. They were billing it like this thing that was going to be huge for the Ultimate Universe. You don't need to read this at all. You can read the Ultimates. You can read Ultimate Spider-Man if you want. I don't think this really added anything to the table. I don't think it.
I think we'll have to wait and see when it's done.
Maybe it will.
But right now, it doesn't feel like
it. It sure doesn't. It kind of felt like this could have been, I don't know, in that video game universe with all the different Spider-Mans wearing different Spider-Man costumes. So you'll go out and buy this Spider-Man download for PS4 or whatever. So you can play, you know, like it just didn't do much for me. This is a skim it at best. I thought this was a letdown, and this was the first kind of letdown from the Ultimate Universe that I've encountered. I don't know. I didn't love it. So,
well, I mean, that's not true. You don't really like the Black Panther book or the X-Men book.
I do. Okay, I stopped reading the X-Men book. The Black Panther book was not terrible. It just wasn't different enough. Like, I thought it was well done. The art's really good, right?
Mm-hmm. Fair.
This was kind of a letdown for me. Way too expensive. Good Lord, you guys.
Matt, our D was terrible. We couldn't hit a 3 to save our lives. There is no way we make the playoffs with a performance like this, but hey, we want to hear what you guys thought of these comics and anything else you're reading on our Discord, where we talk about new comics every Wednesday.
They don't come here for what we do on the court. They come for our personality, you know? Right?
It's true. It's like the Harlem Globetrotters.
Yeah,
if the point of watching the Harlem Globetrotters was that they suck at basketball.
Yeah, if it was funny to watch them play.
Yeah. Before we shower off and pat each other's butts for a good effort, we need to pick one of these comics to enter the THN Permanent Collection. Matt, which one's it going to be? I'm not so sure I know what you're going to pick.
Typically, you pat each other on the butt before you shower, but, you know, I know, whatever. Yeah, I think it's the Marvel Knights World to Come for me, because it just felt so good to return to Christopher Priest's Black Panther world. Not to mention the fact that, like, Joe Quesada was not a part of, like, that book proper. He was stewarding that Marvel Knights
He drew
thing.
Daredevil, and he was the editor of that line.
Right.
Right. He didn't do the art on that.
But it was a treat to see him doing this. And more Christopher Priest is a good thing, and it just made me realize how much I miss that Black Panther and how essential Christopher Priest's Black Panther is to the Black Panther we know today. Like the MCU Black Panther, even. Without Priest, none of that shit. That book was great. Marvel Knights, World to Come. My book of the week.
I'm going to agree. It's mine as well, though I think a case could be made for the 6th Gunn Road to the 6th being in the conversation. But for my time, that Black Panther run is just so near and dear to my heart that seeing
so good
a return to it in any way, and as well done as it is, was just a delight.
With our reviews done, it's time to head to the THN Sanctum Sanctorum to make our must-read comic picks for next Wednesday, June 11th. Joe, if these nerds are buying only one Superman comic book next week, what's it going to be? How did we not see this coming? I mean, really.
Look, I told you were going to get a 1-week break. My pick for next week is Action Comics 1087 from DC. It's written by Mark Waid with art by Skylar Partridge. It's 32 pages for $4.99. Look, this is probably going to be the last one I pick for a while.
I'm sure.
Make fun of me all you want, Bomb, but DC's Summer of Superman has its hooks in me deep.
No shit. I hadn't noticed.
Yeah. I am so happy to see Mark Waid finally take his rightful place as writer of Superman's flagship title. And I love it when he puts his fresh spin on older continuity concepts like Superboy which this book is all about.
And Lord knows, Mark Waid has not been able to write Superman in anything else but 7 different other DC books right now.
I mean,
So-
now he is the main writer of one of the main Superman
I
books.
get it. No, I'm gonna read it too. I love Mark Waid. You kidding me? Come on.
Act like you don't care.
My pick
Shut
for next week is Batman Dark Patterns number 7 from DC. It's written by Dan Waters, art by Hayden Sherman, 32 pages for $4.99. You're saying, Matt, this is number 7. Normally you guys, you pick something I can jump onto. Okay, hear me out. This is the start of a brand new storyline. If you have not been reading Dark Patterns, it is the best Batman book that you are not reading. Period. It's so goddamn good, you guys. I caught up on a road trip this last weekend, and Waters' Batman story is unlike all the other Batman stuff that is going on right now. It's not just another Batman superhero title. This is hard-boiled detective Batman, and the art by Hayden Sherman. Oh my God, it's good.
And it's told in short arcs. So
It is.
you can jump on with issue
It's
7.
told in very short arcs. They've all been like 3-issue arcs. This new storyline is called Pareidolia. It's a psychological phenomenon where people perceive familiar patterns like faces, animals, or objects in unrelated stimuli, such as clouds, rock formations, or burnt toast. Think when people were seeing Jesus in their toast, stuff like that.
Sure, yeah, of course.
They say this plays into like the early days of the Red Hood gang. So I'm not really sure like what bad guy this is going to focus on, but each one,
we'll see. Just let it wash over you.
Each one is also sort of focused on not necessarily a new villain, but maybe a side villain or an aspect of a villain that touched someone else and made them a villain that didn't quite fit into Batman's normal case files. They're great. Pick this up and tell us what you're reading. Tell us what we're missing. Tell us what you'd like us to review in this show. Do it over at our Discord.
Excelsior! Oh.
That is it for the landmark episode THN 780. This is a triple gatefold cover, and we want to thank Mr. Casada for lending his talent to this as well. Oh, yeah, God, he makes us look so good every time. Thank you, Joey Q. If you dig our new comic show, check out our YouTube channel. We put this on the YouTubes. There you can subscribe to all our shows separately. We got a back issue show. We got a gang hang, or you can listen to them as podcasts there as well on YouTube Music or anywhere else you download podcasts. Please like, subscribe, star, do all the things. Write us a review. It
Hit that bell. Smash that button.
Yeah.
Next week, the Back Issue Show returns for a special Peter David Memorial edition of the Cosmic Long Box, where we will dig into 6 issues of our favorite comics that he created.
We can't stop crying about this guy, but for good reason. He's like one of our favorite writers, you jerks.
Right, it's true.
Okay?
If you need more THN before then, join us for the THN Gang Hang Saturdays at 11 o'clock Central Time. I swear to God, we're going to do 2 in a row one of these weeks.
Well, we're going to have one this week, so most definitely. I was out of town last week. What do you want from me?
I want you to tell me more than 30 minutes before the gang hang that you're going to be out of town. But anyway,
if you paid attention,
check out
maybe
our
you would
Discord for
notice.
details at twoheadednerd.com/Discord.
Maybe you'd notice if you paid attention, Joe Patrick. THN is a listener-supported podcast. It wouldn't be possible without the generosity of donors like our patron, Carrie Pierce. If you support the show, just like Carrie, you can be cool too. And you can hear this week's extra. This time we're counting down our top 5 Peter David creation things, moments, whatever. And made Carrie...
We're going to come up with a better way to phrase it.
No. It's just like
between now and then.
We're talking about the stuff that he did that we love the most. Our top 5.
Our top 5 favorite Peter David issues, Peter David runs, Peter David characters that he created.
No
top
different
5
than what I was
favorite
just
Peter
saying.
David things.
This is no different than what I just said and you criticized.
I'm just saying. Except you said it in a very comical and silly way.
Oh, please. You can sign up to be a patron at patreon.com/2headednerd. Watch for that extra dropping Saturday. A lot going on this week. I apologize.
Yeah, sorry guys. We got a lot of work stuff going on. Before we go, our weekly shout out goes to our man on the streets, Damon Chan, who's been living up to his title by sending convention reports from all of the small cons that are being held in his neck of the woods. Most recently, Damon visited Long Island's Cradle Con, And I had to ask, it's named for the Cradle of Aviation Museum where the con is hosted.
They got to do better because I pictured a bunch of like babies.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
it's
weird,
all about
Damon.
like Lil Archie and Sugar and Spice and shit like that. Muppet babies. There he enjoyed vintage cereal, vintage Saturday morning cartoons, vintage video games, and the company of vintage G.I. Joe legend Larry Hama.
Nice.
Then he hit up Kaiju Brooklyn, which why isn't it called Kaiju Con, you guys? I don't care if there already is one.
There probably
It
already
only makes sense.
Pretty sure there's one.
It is an expo devoted to, you guessed it, giant monsters. It's full of kaiju-themed vendors, artists, and cosplayers. Word to you, Damon, keep up the great work. Be careful out there on these streets. I just happened to finish listening to our Conan #1 review show with Wooly Toots for something that we are planning with Toots. And in that episode, we also gave Damon the shout out.
Well, I mean, he's been around for a while. It's
a fun little bit of serendipity.
Yeah.
So keep it up, Damon.
Until next time, true believers, remember to pre-order your comics or your retailer might just ask you to dress up as a baby for Baby Comics Con, celebrating all babies in comics where everyone shows up in diapers. It's disgusting. This is the Two-Headed Nerd, signing off.
Is it like a sex thing or is it just because they
always turns out to be a sex thing.
Oh, no.